Hi guys, so today I'm here to talk about my Great Lakes interview experience. I'm hoping my experience would give a direction to you guys and would help you lean towards the direction that you guys should be preparing into. Let me start by telling you that they asked me nothing related to my work experience, nothing related to my academics. All they asked me was related questions related to GK, current affairs, what's going on in the country, the whereabouts. So start by reading everything possible on what's going on in the country. My suggestions would be the Trump situation, the tariffs, the budget, and a little bit about politics. Who's the any ministers of union, be it home affairs, external affairs, etc., etc. President, basic knowledge as to who's doing what in this country. So I'll start my interview experience. So my interview was online and I was shortlisted based on a profile call. So I received the call back in December. And I'm seeing that a lot of you guys are receiving the calls right now based on the CAT percentile, ZAT percentile, or whichever you applied it through. So this experience will also help you give a direction as to what they're asking and what they're expecting out of you. So my interview started with them obviously asking me to introduce myself. My introduction was about 2.5 minutes long. So to give you a little background, I have done bachelor's in management studies and my specialization is in marketing, and my work experience consists only of marketing domain. So it's a plus, and it's a very obvious guess that I'm going to do MBA in marketing. So the next follow-up question on my introduction was, tell us about 7 P's of marketing. Now my problem here was that for some reason I forgot the 7th P, which is physical evidence. That's where I think my downhill started, and but they were very kind enough to not make me nervous, and they said that it's okay, take your time, don't worry. I feel both the panelists were very kind, if I have to say that. So I had 2 panelists, both were male. One was younger, about 30s, and another one was little older, maybe late 30s or early 40s. So so I forgot 7th P, and I couldn't remember it for good 20 seconds. So after that they only said it's physical evidence. Now since I forgot the 7th P, they asked me to explain physical evidence. I explained that. He moved on to 3 C's of marketing. Now I was a little nervous with the fact that I had forgotten the 7th P. So I think I was being hard on myself, and I think I made myself so nervous that how can I forget the 7th P, like this is the basic. So I think that's where I was so hard on myself that I let it affect the rest of the interview. So I knew the answer to 3 C's, but I couldn't answer. So now I had to say that I'm not sure, and within 10 seconds I was like, wait, I know the exact answer to that question. But I think obviously the interview had moved on. I couldn't go back to wait, I know 3 C's. That would have just not given the right idea about me, which already it wasn't. So they moved on to GK questions. I think they were done with the marketing knowledge that I had. So they moved on to GK, and the first question they asked me was, how much according to you does Maharashtra contributes to the Indian economy? I was not aware that they're going to ask GK questions to me. So I was not prepared for anything related to general knowledge, current affairs, or even politics for that matter. Because I was told, according to my research, from what I've read, from what I've seen on YouTube, from whatever alumni I spoke to, everybody told me that the interview will be around your work experience and around your interests, which is marketing, and maybe something from from a CAT. So also prepare your subjects that you studied in the maybe 2nd or 3rd year. So this question did shook me, and then I obviously again had to say that I'm not sure about this, and which made me more nervous because this was like the 3rd time that this is happening where I'm not able to answer a question. So they were still very calm, combust, and very welcoming. They did not grill me or make me more nervous than I already was. So they said that the other panelists said that why don't you take a guess? So now for me to take a guess, I obviously had to have some knowledge, which I didn't. So I asked them that, is it a single digit number? So they laughed and they said that is definitely not a single digit number. They didn't laugh at me, they laughed in a good way that no, don't worry, it's not a single digit number. So for me, the way they responded to that question, I felt like it maybe is not even in the 10s, maybe it's in 20s. So for me to guess, I roughly had to guess, then I said 23. Now, to those who are wondering the answer is 14%. Um, Now, why I said 23, I was just guessing that because there are three main cities, Mumbai, Pune, Nagpur, maybe it's contributing way too much. And the way they responded also gave me that another hint. They laughed and they were like, no, no, definitely not single digit number. So that's when I was like, maybe 20s, early 20s. So we moved on from that. They didn't say anything. They didn't give me the right answer, or they didn't grill me more on it. They moved on to 3 union ministers. Now, here is another problem. Because I had not prepared anything about GK or current affairs, to give you this is very embarrassing for me to accept on YouTube, but I didn't know that the government that's formed is also called Union Ministers of India. So to that question, I had to say I am not sure, because I didn't know who is a part of Union Ministry. Now, when I said that, I was like, I don't think I'm converting this call anymore, because this is the 4th time I'm saying that. And they responded with, don't you know Nirmala Sitharaman or Amit Shah? And I was like, wait a second, I do know those people. So then they're like, yeah, so they are part of Union Ministry. And I was like, okay. That's the moment I felt so dumb. And I was like, what's happening? So of course I was so hard on myself because of the 7th P. So my suggestion to you guys would be, don't be hard on yourself. Don't think that you have not answered the very first question, then your interview is done, you have lost your chances. You still have chances. So my learning from that interview was that if I'm not able to answer first or second or even the third question, I do not need to beat myself up. I need to raise my confidence, and I need to work on myself, and I be prepared with the rest of the interview rather than focus on the previous half of the interview, which I've screwed up already, or maybe have not been able to answer. So now that they had mentioned 2 ministers, they asked me to name the third one. Luckily, I did know Nitin Gadkari, so I said that, and they were at least, they sighed. To those who don't know who Nitin Gadkari is, he's the road and transport minister. Now, I could see their faces. They were like sort of glad that I could answer something, and maybe this would raise my confidence a little bit. I could say that looking at their faces, and I was like, okay. They were very nice throughout the interview, so I was very glad that I had good interviewers who didn't grill me or put pressure on me. And the interview ended by the last question, which was President of India. Now, my learnings from the interview was that no matter how the interview is going, stay focused and don't get nervous. Don't beat yourself up because you couldn't answer 1 question, 2 questions. Focus on the future of the interview, the next part of the interview, the next question, rather than beating yourself up or even thinking what you could have answered. Think of what you should answer to the next question or to the present question. Don't overthink things, and just, I think communication is also a very big part. To give you some context and conclusion, I did convert the Gurgaon campus, but I am not going to Gurgaon campus because I'm more focused on the Chennai campus. So Chennai campus results are not out yet. The results will be out with the score based calls. Mine was profile based calls, so my interview took place in December. So that's my interview, guys. I hope you don't make mistakes like me. I hope you learn from my interview. Stay focused, stay confident, focus on your communication. No matter what, don't beat yourself up. You still have time. Read current affairs, have knowledge about the government, the politics. Have an opinion as well. Don't be extremely on either of the sides. If you want, you can choose the road to diplomacy, where you are not choosing any side, but still do have an opinion on things. Don't think that if you have work experience, they're going to ask you things related to your work experience, or if you're a fresher, then they're going to ask you things related to your academics. Stay prepared for GK, current affairs, or anything for that matter. Of course, given that they asked me only GK, mostly GK, I think I would say that 80% of my interview was GK. Doesn't mean that they'll ask you the same thing, or your interview will also be 80% GK. Every interview is different. Every interview takes every interview differently. So my suggestion would be, be prepared for GK, behavioral questions, situational questions. They could also give you an instance. Maybe if you're from marketing background like me, they could also give you a situation and ask you to create a campaign, give a tagline. If you rate yourself creative, maybe 8 or 9 on 10, then they could also ask you to suggest a tagline for whatever campaign, or ask you your favorite brand. Anything is possible. So this is my interview, guys. I hope you definitely learn things from my interview. All the best.